Hello everyone, welcome back to A Space for Change.
Hi there.
Okay, so we intended to talk about self-love, self-care, everything related to Valentine's Day. And we will get to that. However, we both feel that we'd be remiss to not talk about a specific topic that has occurred, which is something that happened in the season finale of Real Housewives of New York, which actually just found out it's New York City, and it has been since the beginning, but no one calls it that. Neither here nor there.
No one calls it that.
Yeah. But anyway, so before we get into said topic, we just want to give a warning to anyone watching that this topic just surrounds a discussion about sexual assault. So we know that could be triggering for...
Right. It's a sensitive topic, and definitely we want to be,
considerate
and considerate to
correct.
that. And we're aware. It's, it's delicate.
Right. So if this is something you find triggering, this might be a point where you stop. Watch it. With that being said, we're going to get into it, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So do you want to lead us into the episode, or do you want me to?
I started last time. You go for it.
Okay. So here we are watching the second to last episode, and all of a sudden they start talking about how it kind of takes a turn.
Oh, yeah.
And so we tune into this season finale that all the cast members had prefaced it was going to be dark, was the term that was used. Would you agree that's the turn it took?
Yes, I definitely think I was caught off guard too. I didn't know where it was going to go.
Yeah. Because oftentimes they sensationalize it to get viewers, but this time I think it was pretty true to what they were saying.
Definitely. Because, well, there's layers to it I feel like I say that about everything, but we'll get into that. Go ahead.
Get into it.
I meant there's two sides to it, right? Like I see where... Well, I think Katrina will preface it. Where Brynn was coming from.
No, I'm talking about in general in Housewives episodes. So like sensationalize and talk about.
Oh yeah, I thought
it's dark or it's the best episode yet.
No, definitely. I was already getting into it, but go ahead.
Jumping ahead of me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically what happens is a series of different conversations, topics, kind of abrupt in this house in Puerto Rico amongst these women. Which is, I don't even know how many women there are, like 8 at this point, 6, 8.
It's a lot.
And so the one that is stand out is where one of the women, you already said her name, Brynn, appears to just kind of be letting it all loose. And you could tell that I think drinks were involved from the day. Emotions were definitely heightened, I think.
Right, which we've been there.
Yeah.
Everyone's been there.
100%. And she just kind of starts saying all these things about another castmate and friend, Uba. And she then proceeds to say something of like, how dare she accuse me of sleeping with someone for the job I have when she knows I have been raped.
Right.
That's where things start to take a turn.
I also want to preface, I think that was wrong of Uba to say as well, even though.
100%.
And just a lot was going on. Like you said, a lot of
right, but for the sake of this conversation, I think we need to focus on what, from that comment on.
Right. Fair.
Yeah. Just because, if not, we could go into so many different conversations, and this will be the longest
we'll stay on
episode
topic.
ever.
We'll go ahead.
But, okay, so that's kind of where it takes off, right? So then cameras apparently go down for the night, right?
Yes, they were going down. They took their mics off.
Yeah, because they say, let's just all go our separate ways. Let's go to sleep.
They were already arguing, and they kind of
things were loud.
They wrapped that up. They're like, okay, it's been a long day. Let's call it. And then
so then one of the other girls, it didn't sit well with her, so she goes to Uba and says, "Listen, just so you're aware, this is what was said."
Who was that? I don't.
Jessel.
I thought so.
Queen Jessel.
Yes.
Icon.
Agreed.
Best
favorite
yet.
Yeah,
I love her.
Agreed.
Okay, that's another conversation. But anyway, so we'll stay on topic. So Uba, hearing that she's been accused of saying something, knowing this information,
right? Because she wasn't privy to that going on until it was brought to her attention,
right? Understandably, in my point of view, loses it.
Yeah.
And
it's a big accusation.
Yeah.
And that's heavy. And also it says a lot about her, character and who she
Yeah.
is as a human, as
Yeah,
a friend.
well, 100%. It's claiming something about someone. It's like, that's my character. How can you say that about
And that's
me?
a lot of responsibility to claim, like, you knew this information and you actively chose to say that knowing this. So
Right.
in this Uba's mind, like, she was like, no, I would have never said such a thing if I knew you were sexually assaulted.
Right. And I believe she has a little history of that in herself, because I believe she says, knowing what I've been through myself. So that makes it, 10 times more intense for her.
Right. And I think that's culturally, like, where she was.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, Uba storms out of the bedroom.
Well, they were like screams.
Yeah,
and that's why
goes-
that goes to the dark place of, like, you hear the weight of that.
Yeah,
how she
and
felt
you
that.
hear in her voice this like visceral reaction of,
Sorry, my eye.
how dare
Sorry.
you say
I keep playing with my eye.
how dare you say that, and starts to hurl names and this, that, and the other. And that's where I'm just like, what is going on here? Like,
Yeah,
this
you
is
were
taking
caught
a
off
turn
guard.
where you're like, what's
is she
going
well?
on?
Why is she screaming? Is
Everyone's
she
screaming.
like,
It's loud.
But you also don't have that type of such a reaction to defend
agree.
yourself unless you really believe in
You
your
feel helpless.
and
Like,
soul.
this is not
Exactly.
me.
Like, justice for
Yeah.
me. Like, please. Like, I did not do this.
I had no
didn't-
idea.
She's like, I didn't go to this dark place. I'm not capable of this.
Yeah. So then another castmate, Jenna, says how she came in the room and was like looking in her eyes, like pleading with her, like, please, like, you need to know, like, I never knew this, like, I had no idea.
Right.
So that's when they start like, what's happening? Like, this is weird. This is taking a turn. Okay. Well, now they get separated. Uba leaves the house with Jessel. Jessel accompanies her to a hotel for the night.
Right.
Okay. So everyone thinks, okay, we're going to sleep. Just kidding. They're all in one bedroom. They start having conversations.
Yes, I need a reminder of this.
Yeah.
Because then Brynn starts
So Brynn
talking.
starts telling her story.
Right, like her side, her perspective. Of
Correct. Of how there was an issue within her own family. She reached out to Uba in distress, she claims, and she's saying all these different things. Uba's just trying to be very direct with her, like, what do I need to do? Do I get you a car? Things of that nature.
like,
Just
what
being
do we
very
need
problem
in this
solving.
moment? Taking it back to when this originally happened, the moment that Brynn is accusing Uba of knowing this information.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just breaking it down.
Oh, yeah. So she's telling this story, and then she says, and that's when I told her that I was sexually assaulted.
Right.
And then apparently, per the other castmates, the story kind of changes.
As she says, come to think of it, maybe she didn't clock it. Like, she didn't catch that.
Right. And that's when everyone's like,
girl.
oh, this is where things start to take a turn. This is where
They all realize that moment. They're like, we realized she was lying.
Right. And I just want to say, no one, not me, not you, not her castmates,
believe that this.
We all believe it happened to her.
Right. And I think what Jenna said is how I view it, because some were like, she's just blatantly lying. I think Jenna was one of the ones I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was like, she could have thought that happened, but regardless, like, the accusation was still there. You know, like, it was still an accusation without processing.
Yeah, she could think she told her in the midst of a million other things she told her.
Right.
The problem is when she said it so matter-of-factly and then says, oh, she might have not clocked it.
Yeah, like,
whoa,
nonchalant, like, no, you should have led with that. Like, I said this, I don't know if it registered for her. So I don't know why she would say that. And then have a conversation about that with her.
Correct. Go straight to
versus
her.
going to the other
Not
group
word
of friends
vomit
and a
group.
big accusation. Like, she knew I was sexually assaulted.
Right.
And she made a joke at my expense. So it was actually weaponized against the friend that was... I don't even remember. What did she say? Like, you what?
What?
You date men for money? You sleep with men for money?
You slept with someone to get the job you have.
Right. So she said what she said there, but then, like, to weaponize this other knowledge she
big
had,
thing,
right.
and which apparently wasn't true. The problem is that spin, and that's where it really got icky for me.
Yeah.
Because, oh God, you're accusing someone, a so-called friend, of something really harmful.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, this is your friend you're doing this to, and I don't know. I don't want to speak for everyone, but you would assume if you went through something like that too, you're just more sensitive and in tune with emotions, right?
Oh,
and
we're to that.
What?
We're going to get to that.
Oh, like, how can you do that to someone else?
Well, okay. So now let's talk, so we can just get this recap of what happened over. So, cut to, everyone goes to sleep. They're all in disbelief. They wake up, and it cuts to this girl,
yes.
this woman, on the couch with producers talking about horseback riding.
That probably was, like, the darkest part for me, because, like, that just shutting it all off, and I know it's a coping mechanism for her, but to just see it, how everyone it's weighing so heavily on everyone.
Was like, oh,
that the other girl that
wow.
got accused of knowing she was sexually assaulted had to actually be removed from the situation because of her mental health. And then everyone else involved was just in disbelief, carrying this weight with them. Yeah. And then she's acting like, let's go horseback riding and continue the trip.
That was, it was interesting to say the least.
Right.
And then she apparently had sent a message in the night, that very night, same night, get me on the earliest flight out, which they did. She left before everyone else. And then,
right, but then she went back on it, and then the producers were like, no, we need that. So you need to get out of here.
Yeah. And this continues is when she starts asking, like, another castmate, you're leaving too, right? Like, she, like, sorry, I think a text, like, you're getting out of here too, right?
That's right. Like, that she
so
wanted
the
group, like, she had FOMO and wanted to control the situation.
No, I think she wanted people separated. She didn't want them together to talk about it.
Right, to control the situation.
Right. Okay, yeah. So, that's that story. Then you cut to the reunion, and she says to one of these girls, we're good, everything's good, right?
Oh, okay. Well, that's funny you say that. That's what I was going to mention when I just saw that, like, what was that, last night, the night before, whatever,
Tuesday.
That's the part I was in. I'm like, no freaking way this girl's acting like as if nothing happened. They haven't talked in, I don't know how long the period of time is, but she was just like, you're acting weird, we're all good, right? You're being cryptic.
And Jessel it was the one who said, did you see the season? Did you see? She's like, oh, I'm watching the finale now.
And then when they flash to her watching the episode as she's getting glam on her phone, and she's acting with attitude and with faces.
Okay.
That's because she's projecting.
Okay. So we'll get to that. So that's basically what we've been caught up to. They didn't discuss it in reunion in the first part of the reunion.
No, not yet.
So I'm intrigued to see what happens in the second. But needless to say, it left me with a very uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to, I guess, put our therapeutic perspectives onto it, right? Because I'm sure you, as I, had many a feeling, many a thought come up.
Yes.
So as we know, from what she has stated on the show, traumatic childhood.
And that's why I meant by those layers. Because it's easy for me to be so upset with her. Because, like, how can you do this to your friend, plus the group of friends? It affects everyone involved at that point. No one trusts her. They all, like I said, it was heavy for all of them. When you're that close, like, in a group, like, you carry that weight.
100%.
It affected someone's character, etc. But we got to get to the root of it. Like, why? What is the why?
What
led her?
Yeah, got you here. So as we know from, like I said, what she has shared on the show is that traumatic childhood, in and out of foster care, things of that nature.
Right. And like abandonment.
Correct. So. Lots of themes of abandonment.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now we know of the sexual assault.
Right, to add to it all.
Ooh, so
for her, that's very heavy as well. She's dealing with so much. Also, she wants to very much have a family of her own. And, she went through egg freezing, right? And she's in the process of all that. So she wants to be a mom very badly. So you add that to the thing.
So, yeah, on top of just harboring her trauma, she's now dealing with all those emotions, totally. And it's just a lot going on for her. And you could see it.
Oh yeah, especially in reunion.
And for those that don't know, she's someone that masks a lot with like comedic
humor.
Relief, sexual, a little exaggerated sexual humor, things of that nature. And to the normal person, no, she's so funny. But I know from our perspective, when we were seeing it, it's always been like, oh. It's always made me feel just like, oh,
yeah,
God, who are we talking to here? Like, can we start talking to someone? Because
and like, why are we doing this? Why the need for the most and those jokes and that?
Because that is clearly
exactly
And I think she
how
knows
she copes
she
with
addressed it in the reunion. That's her coping mechanism.
Exactly. And like, because she's like, oh, I have control of this. Like,
Correct.
you know, if I could beat someone to the punch. Or
Correct.
Like, you know, I'm in control of this. So we're good.
Yeah. So it was just really disheartening to have seen that through season 1, now season 2, and then see it come to a head. It just made me be like, oh,
and
no.
Someone, I think, said that, right? Was it? Oh, no, I think I saw on social media, and I was like, that's how I felt. They're like, she needs to stop trying so much because she really is cool. She's like, just unnaturally, like, but this is why.
Yeah,
like,
she clearly, you know, is lacking that empowerment, the self-esteem.
Right, all the esteem, right, because it all really goes back to, like, your upbringing, and now she's like, you know, you have to unlearn all this and, like, to heal from that trauma, and, you know, like, who are you today? And, you know, and then trauma happened again. It found her again, which is the whole reason she was calling her friend Uba in that moment, because something else was happening with the family. Yeah, like something.
Yeah, and she even said the words like, why does this keep happening to me? Like, why does this follow me?
So, listen, she's lost in the moment, you know, fine. She doesn't know, but it's unfortunate on both ends.
My only hope is, like, she is able to watch, even now, like, the reunion and be like, I hope something clicks, because as she's watching the finale, like you said, she was shaking her head, making faces.
Yeah.
And being like, no. And I'm like,
yeah, that's the thing. And she excused it. She's like, are you kidding me? And like,
yeah.
I'm like, are we watching the same episode? So I'm hoping that was her needing a moment to process it and know she messed up. And she's in denial in that moment.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm hoping she's a good therapist and they could talk through it and she could, you know, have some, you know, self-awareness and her role and all
I
this.
hope that out of anything that comes out of this, I hope that's what she gains, self-awareness, and she's able to say, I messed up. And because all that went through my head is like, how many women watching this that has experienced what she's experienced that has not weaponized that,
right,
and saying, whoa, what are you doing? You know, like, that's just where my head went. Like, my own clients that have experienced sexual trauma, I'm like, it made me, that's why I think too it hit, because I'm like, I know these women,
right,
and
that's the thing. It's just like, hopefully, like, there's a place to grow from here. Like, you know, it's not like, you know, oh, this is it. Like, just let's learn from it and say, okay, I could have done this different. I could have went about this differently. My feelings were valid, but maybe I totally missed the mark, right? And I own this, and, you know, and also Uba could learn from, like, I shouldn't have gone there, whether I knew she did not know. I thoroughly believe she did not know she was sexually assaulted.
Well, that's a good point of, like, you don't know what someone's experience is, so maybe not making comments like that.
Because you don't play around with that either. Like, you don't, you know? No. And I think as women, like, that's something that, you know, we need to be girls. Like, we don't throw around, like, someone slept their way to the top, or they got, like, we don't need to go there. You know, we're in 2025 now. Like, let's not do that. Let's be, you know, let's advocate for one another and be, you know, rooting for one another.
Yeah. So I think just all in all, it was just very...
it was dark on so many.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, it was just unsettling.
It was unsettling.
That she chose to go that route. And in turn, it just created distrust amongst her friend group.
That's the thing. She didn't wake up the next day and was like, man,
well, that's how she projected. That's how she portrayed it. I think deep down she was probably
you could tell she was like shitting bricks, honestly, because she am I not allowed to say that? But so one that's like so, you know, wishy-washy and jumpy and like,
I think this
get me on a plane and get
like,
me out because I need to flee the scene, or now, oh, we're good, I'm gonna pretend because that's what I do. I just keep moving on.
Right. And then even when they cut to and they're doing something for the season, they're filming, I think the opening credits or something. And she's like, they're all laughing and having a great time, and I'm dying inside. And in my head, I'm like,
no.
So why aren't you saying something?
No, and she said something, remind me, what did she say? Like, they don't care.
They don't care.
And it's like, you don't understand, they do care.
Yeah, and that's why they're so hurt, because if they didn't care, they would.
And they would have been there for you, and they do believe you. They don't deny you of that. It's just the situation, like, of putting that on another friend.
Yeah. But that's my thing too. It's like, okay, if you feel this way, that could have been a great moment of, ladies,
I'm going through it.
can I please talk to you?
Right.
And, hash it out.
I think that's another good learning lesson. Like, please, if you're going through this, like utilize,
your support
system. And if, let's say you don't have one, there's a community out there with resources. Like, somebody, please. I know it's easier said than done, but, please don't sit with this alone, because I think that just makes everything the harder and darker and worse, and you're drowning in it. Like, she's a perfect example of that,
right.
And masking it, and it's really heartbreaking, honestly.
Agreed.
So
well,
so
I think that just is,
communication once again is key.
100%, and just self-awareness. Accountability is major. And just
everyone, being in tune with others' emotions, and words matter. So
words definitely do matter. And so we just felt like we needed to talk about it. Because it came up and we're like, oh my God. So now that we talked about that, we got that off our chest.
Yes.
We can segue into
I need to
self-love.
Self-love,
which is tied to it.
It is tied to it.
So we're not
you
totally
need to
off
give
course
yourself
here.
some grace and love, and remind yourself of the bad bitch you are.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
Okay.
So now you take us away on this topic.
Okay, I love self-care. I love self-love. So, what do we want to talk about on this Valentine season? How important it is to not forget yourself, I think, because, every holiday, I think the focus becomes about anyone but ourselves, right? So it's important to say, what do I want to do for me? And not always 100%. Make it about, in my case, it's not even so much about my husband anymore. It's about the kids, because we're good on it. We just go and have a dinner another day to celebrate that. But it becomes about the kids and their little Valentine's baskets, which I love to do, by the way. But, and then with our family, we're big on
we do our Galentines.
Little gifts and, those acts like Galentines. We make an event out of anything. And it goes to my grandmother,
it's about, we spread love to everyone else. And then it's like, wait a minute, what about us?
Yeah, and then we do something with the girlfriends and the little girls, our friend group. So I'm like, where's the love for me? So
that's what we were talking about, is pouring back into yourself.
Right. It could be as simple as I like getting a cup of iced coffee with my sister. So, and I think we've talked about a Target run.
Target run is a big one.
These days, just going for a nice walk outside because the weather's been so lovely. God. Things that just put your mind at ease.
Reading a book I just finished on Next Storm.
Oh boy, she's been deep into this series. I'm a reader too, but I'm not.
I haven't read a book from the series for a year.
Oh, I thought they were all the same.
No.
Oh, they all seem so similar with dragons.
Nope.
Whatever. No. So, that's a good example. Do something for you and take a moment to
get your nails done.
Yes.
That's what we're into.
Well, am I? I'm into it I love the way it looks, but
right. You think I enjoy sitting there?
Sometimes I sit there, I'm like, how much longer? But so I'm gonna stick with that's something I do.
Having them look nice for me. That's important.
But that's just a routine. But yeah, so the point is remember to check in with yourself and say, what do I need in this moment? Yeah. And when you're thinking about everyone else.
I mean, I say that to my clients all the time. It's you need to be number one. Mm-hmm. Because if you yourself are struggling, whether that's emotionally, mentally, physically, all of the above. You're not going to be able to give anyone anything.
Right, exactly.
So you need to take a beat and say, what do I need right now? Is it an extra hour of sleep? Is it a 20-minute cat nap? Right. Is it an extra cup of coffee? Is it maybe just a piece of dark chocolate?
Definitely.
If you're me.
Always. I'm going to watch my Bravo shows in peace and do this alone?
After this, when we're done filming?
Right. Sometimes I tell my husband, I'm gonna watch the show alone.
Yeah.
It's not us time.
Take
it's
rocks.
Me time. And I love you so much. We'll have our time, but now it's about
me time. Yeah.
So, and thankfully he respects and, he gets
He
it.
goes and watches
yeah,
silly
whatever guy show he likes. But, but anyway, so yeah, and especially I think it's just like, especially during holidays like this where it becomes so much about everyone else.
Yep. And we've talked about that, the episode where it was close to the holidays, where we talked about holidays can bring about certain feelings, emotions,
Right.
weariness, what have you. And I get this one. So I could speak to it from like a singles perspective, right? And I know I have certain clients, actually this week, brought it up of like, oh, I know this is coming up. I have friends that are all in relationships.
Okay.
And like, it's not like the most ideal day for me. And I'm like, what? I was like, you love you? Like, I think so. There's something to celebrate here.
I could get myself a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
That could be cliche anyway.
No, I mean, yeah. But like, why are you not celebrating you?
Right. It's like what society puts, once again, putting the pressure. And I don't know, maybe it's me that I view it differently with age, or is it that the times have caught up and it's not so much pressure?
I was gonna say, I also know back in the days when it did matter to you.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Right. So you've been in
My
a very long.
Like I needed gestures.
Well, no, and also you've been in this relationship, but
right?
it wasn't for a long
and
time.
That's another good perspective. Like I've been with my husband, it'll be 15 years. It'll be 8 married. That we value each other so much, and we don't need like the gift giving. Not to shit on the gift giving.
You love a piano.
I love it, but we have made the decision that we don't do that. We rather do something to spend time together, like a nice dinner, and like for our anniversary, if we could do a staycation or a nice dinner. Christmas we do cards, we don't do gifts, so like that's just what works for us. Right. But yeah, like it doesn't become about the gesture so much, just like that quality time and like the effort putting into one another.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, from that perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, for all my single ladies, like live it up. Like love yourself.
Yeah, like
hang out with your girlies.
And that's where I use transparency in my sessions. And I'm like, listen, I hear you, especially ones that are closer to my age. I'm like, I hear you. I'm in the same boat with you. But here's where it's different for me. I've reframed it. Now I'm going to help you get there.
Right.
Of like, what does it mean to me? I will take myself to get a coffee that day or whatever. I'll do whatever makes me happy, like we talked about. And then what do? I hosted Valentine's for my sister, my mom, and my niece.
That's awesome.
And that brings me so much joy because they're my Valentine.
We're so
and we're going to Disney. This Valentine's Day, actually.
That's Valentine's Day.
So, I'm thrilled. Thrilled. So, reframe it.
No,
because you are of value. You don't need a partner to make you feel loved.
And it's so much fun to do the Galentines. Like, I love Galentines.
I love our Galentines.
Honestly,
I go all out.
I love you guys too. But my husband, I could love him and date him any night of the year. Like, I love a time for the girlies. It's so girly and fun, the Galentines. I don't know. You appreciate that time too. As a woman. And I think also that evolves, like with our age, like you value these relationships, whether it's like your family or like your girls, like your friendships, it's more meaningful, everything with age.
Yeah,
so
and that's the good point.
That.
Find meaning in what is around you.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to focus on what you don't have.
Right.
And it's like, hold on, take a second, look around.
Yeah, you could get caught up in that very quickly. So it's true. And that's what I do with my clients. Like, let's take a minute and let's reframe it. And, let's
reassess.
That. And then normally they're like, oh, a light bulb goes off. So it just takes a little
new, a minute, a little nudge.
A little, So, a little dance. So anyhow, love yourself. Give yourself the best Valentine.
Whatever that looks like.
Is it Valentine's or Valentine?
It's Valentine's Day.
Okay, or Valentine's Day.
You are my Valentine on Valentine's Day.
Yes, I am.
No, I'm explaining to you
No,
the
but-
grammar.
And you
Right.
are mine.
That's
You're
right.
always gonna be one of my Valentines. Okay.
Correct.
But anyhow, love yourself.
Yeah, I like that message.
Yeah. So with that
being said,
that wraps it up.
so go out, do what you need to do, love
Yeah.
yourself, and we'll chat next time.
We'll chat next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Besos.